All right, everybody. Welcome to Badge and Banter. I am Lieutenant Charles Whittington of the Lawton Police Department and the Public Information Officer. And this is Badge and Banter. We talk about the Lawton Police Department. We talk about our culture. We talk about things going on in the community. And we have a podcast. Our last podcast, we brought our Chief of Police, and we brought in Mr. Albert Johnson from Cameron University. They've graciously let us use their studio and said, go ahead and shoot a podcast. So here we are. Today, we have a very special guest with us. It is the Lieutenant Brian Schatz. Welcome.
How's everybody?
We want to talk to you. We mentioned last week with the chief about a fishing tournament that you were in, and we'll get to that. But I
Sure.
thought, why not bring you in as one of our first guests?
I feel honored to be here.
Well, I don't know about
No,
you feel honored
it's
to be here. It's an honor to have you. I mean, it's cool. What do you think that we have a podcast? How do you feel about that?
I think it's a good direction.
Yeah.
Neat setup.
This is a really
I like
cool
it.
studio. Cameron University, we asked them if this is something they'd be interested in, and they said, come on, decide to run with it. But they've been gracious enough to let us come in here and shoot these and talk to officers just like you. So I think it'll be a really good step in the right direction.
Yeah, I think so. That's great. They're letting us use this and, helping us out like they are.
It'll be fun for us. So the title, Badge and Banter, we want to talk about our officers and our culture. We'll talk about you, Brian. We'll talk about
Right.
your time on the department. I want to talk about what you do in your off time. Our viewers and our listeners, because we're not video right now.
Right.
Our listeners are going to want to know about our officers, about our culture, about things going on in the community. You originally were from a different department, is that correct?
Yes. Yeah, I started with Comanche County Sheriff's Department back in 1996.
Oh, CCSO.
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 Yeah, with Kenny Stradley.
Still, yeah. Kenny's been there a very, very long time. Sheriff Stradley's been there for quite some time.
Yeah, I saw on Facebook he just retired.
Yeah. So they have a
Hanging
new
it up.
sheriff in town.
Yep, new
Soon to
sheriff
be.
in town. Yes.
Soon to be. Shout out to Sheriff Stradley, mentioning the CCSO there. But you were over there for how long?
I was there from 1996 to 2003 when I got hired with the Lawton Police Department.
You came on in 03?
2003.
Man, I came on in 04. I thought you'd been here a lot longer.
Mm-mm.
You're just
No.
seasoned.
It's like most people, they say, well, I thought you were bigger. I guess it's just their reputation. I don't know.
It's because you had a dog.
Maybe.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
It was
Dogs make me look bigger.
You look sharp.
Yeah.
You look sharp. Today you're in your uniform.
Sharp.
I like
like
it. Yep. You look a sharp. But you were with CCSO for a little bit. What'd you do when you were over there?
That's where I had my first dog, which was Jensen. It was
Jensen.
a black female Labrador. I think
Yeah.
back then I had the only Labrador in the country that was a bite dog.
Really?
Yes.
A
Meanest-
dual-purpose lab.
Meanest lab I've ever
That's
seen.
that's interesting. I've never met a mean lab.
Yeah. You should have met her.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She didn't like you.
Oh, didn't like anybody.
No.
Yeah. Well.
She tolerated me.
Yeah, that's understandable. They. So you were with SO and you were a canine unit there.
Yes.
What inspired you to come over to LPD?
I was friends with Chief Ronnie Smith back then.
Okay.
Had a few deals where we were out on the same calls. I think one of them was a pursuit when the conversation actually came up. He had me promise if he ever made chief, I would put in.
Yeah.
And he made assistant chief, so he called me.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
So he kind of fanned the flame that was employment at LPD for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then you came over in 03.
2003, yes.
Tell me about that. Tell me about that process.
As far as like getting hired.
Well, yeah.
or
What was that? Because
what I
I
did
mean,
when I
as
got
far
hired.
as I mean, once you got on, obviously you were with the SO, so you were technically a lateral officer,
Yes.
and then but you had to go through probably an abbreviated academy or something of sorts.
I guess it was called INDOC.
Or an indoctor. Okay.
I'd been doing the job for quite a while, so really all I needed was learning how to do the paperwork and how LPD did things differently than we did at the SO.
Yeah.
You know, which didn't take long at all. I was out on the road early.
No, yeah. You pick up on that stuff pretty quick, right?
Sure.
And then you go through a field training process.
Yes.
Who were your FTOs?
My first FTO was Jason Roberts, and then I had Jerry Vallejo.
Jerry Vallejo, Big Jerry.
And Big Jerry.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then on day shift, I had Robert Bishop.
Yeah. Brother Bob.
Yeah. Yeah. Which all those guys I worked with, well, two of those, I didn't work with Jason Roberts, but the other guys I worked with when I was in narcotics, worked with Bishop when he was in narcotics.
Quite
Jerry
a few of them.
Vallejo.
So familiar faces
Yes,
for you
sir.
was a whole lot easier to make that transition, right?
Yeah. It was a good transition.
I don't remember not knowing you. You know what I mean?
Right.
You've always just been there. And it's like that with a lot of guys. Like I can't remember the first time I met you,
Mhm.
but I remember you've always been there, been Brian.
Yeah.
You've always been there. And I know when I came in 03, you were canine. That's all it was. And I did not like your dog. No, I take that back. I did like your dog. I don't think your dog liked anybody.
Yeah.
Maybe.
He was kind of particular.
He would, yeah.
Yeah.
Like he wasn't one that I wanted to see just meandering around the station. You know, I didn't want to,
Right.
you know, just on the loose, just walking through with paperwork, and this dog just comes walking around. I'm like, oh, Brian, get your dog.
Yeah. Your brother had a situation with that.
Yeah, on Bobby's.
Yeah. Town and had a foot pursuit, and I'd tracked for, oh my goodness, it was summertime, so I'd tracked probably to about where my dog could go.
Yeah.
We ran into a fence, so Charlie Martin and his dog Diego picked up
Charlie.
the track on the other side of the fence, and they started from there. Once I get through the fence, your brother stops to pick me up, take me back to his car. He forgot to shut his sliding glass window.
Oh, that
So-
partition. So yeah,
I threw Rex in the back, and when I get in, Rex is
face and all.
licking
Ugh.
and tasting your brother.
Yeah, man, that had to have been a scary experience. That's just because you're not ready for that.
Yeah, yeah. He was pretty pale.
You did your time in canines, had Rex, and then, but you didn't stay in patrol. I mean, obviously you moved around a little bit in
Yes.
advancement, and I know you went to the gang unit for some years, and then from there you went to the criminal investigation division, correct?
Yes, when
Okay.
Rex retired.
Yes.
That's when I went over to criminal investigations.
Yes. So I think that's where you and I we would see each other in passing, and of course friends on the PD. But as far as the day to day, I think that's where you and I probably clicked the most with that, because I was in detectives as well.
Sure.
I don't know. Was I there before you, or was I there after?
You were there before me, and I
Just
think
it was just before.
when we were both on patrol. I think we worked the other sides of the
Other
week
sides of the
also.
week. Yeah. And then when we went to detectives, I forget the order. There was like a group of us that came through pretty quick.
Yes.
What kind of cases did you work when you were over there?
When I started over there, I was in property, and then went over to the burglary task force pretty quick after getting there.
Yeah.
And I think you were in that as well.
I was in burglary. Yeah. I worked
You, Jerry Vallejo,
Charlie Martin.
Charlie Martin.
Yep. We worked a lot of burglaries at that point, that task force.
Yes.
So with your time on with SO, I kind of want to go back to that a little bit. Did that assist you with the detective work and stuff as well?
Oh yeah, absolutely. You know, being at a smaller agency like that, you're almost hands-on with everything.
Yeah, you're the detective, you're
Yeah,
the lead investigator, you're the patrolman who arrives on
Investigating
scene.
it all. So, you know, I did a lot of interdiction and narcotics work.
Yeah.
You know, so I'd work those cases up and run those through with the DA's office. So I had pretty good experience with that. Helped
And you
me
had
lot.
a working rapport with the district attorney's office too,
Yes.
so that does
Yeah,
help.
I knew all of them.
That if you're from a smaller department, that's something that, Brian, you're not the only one of the older school that was a lateral. I mean, we've got Billy Peterson, Sergeant Peterson came over from another department. Matt, my younger brother, came
Yeah,
over from
brother.
SO.
Hollenbeck,
Correct. Tally.
Tally.
We had Chief Wyndham
Yes.
came over. Captain Mole came over from another department,
Yes,
if
he
I'm
did.
not mistaken.
Yes, he did.
There's a lot of officers. I mean, I can't name all of them. In the more recent years, we've had a few come over as well. But we look for that. We look for those officers with that, like you said, they're that one-stop shop. Some of them have to do, they're the responding officer, they're the investigating officer, and they're doing that for a smaller agency. A lot of the smaller departments, they go to those smaller agencies and they cut their teeth and they get the work that they have to. They figure out, okay, this is what being an officer is about, and then a lot of them will step up to larger departments.
Right.
And unfortunately, it's the nature of the beast for those smaller departments. I mean, I got to give it to those guys and girls that do that on the daily. I mean, we have it pretty fortunate here for us on the PD for whether it's equipment, whether it's the manpower, the backup.
Yes. That's really understated, coming from a place like that.
Absolutely.
I was a worker when I was over there. And there may be times that I'm asking for backup, and it would be 15 minutes.
Yeah. And then here, if you get on the radio, backup is seconds, if not minutes away.
Yeah. Minutes would be worst case scenario.
Yes, worst case scenario. And so, I mean, that's something that you may look at as a lateral. My safety would be, I wouldn't want to put that in jeopardy with that. So it's a different world. There's we talked last with the chief. We can't police the way we did, 10 years ago. We can't police the way we did 5 years ago. We're always evolving. We're always changing.
Definitely changing a lot.
Trying to work that out. My microphone keeps slipping up over here. I'm trying to turn it, get it to where it's, there you go. We got it. It's something that we have to look at. Like I said, so hang on, I lost it here. My mic is, are you hearing me okay on that one? Is that, we can't, no, stop.
No, I can hear you
Stop.
fine.
You can hear me fine. Okay, fast forward. You went to CID. We worked burglaries. We worked a lot of cases. Do you miss CID?
I do. I really enjoyed that. I went from the property side over to the person side.
Yeah.
Worked homicide and kid cases. Love doing interviews.
Yeah.
It's one of my things.
Yeah. And then you did child forensic interviews too, right?
Yes, I did. Yes.
Yeah, we both did those.
Yeah.
That's a different animal altogether. Working with interviewing kids and techniques in interviewing kids in those cases. I know when I went over there, Charlie Martin told me. Yep, he said don't do it. Don't go to that school. Don't. And I was like, it's something that probably advanced me in my career, because you're always looking for that,
Sure.
Maybe that edge or something to use later in life. And I went against his hey, don't do it. And that's what I ended up working. I ended up working a bunch of kid cases.
Yeah.
So I know I miss the guys that we worked with.
Yeah, that was a good time.
The group over there was really good. Not that the ones that are there now are not. It was a different group. It was, it was you, it was me, it was Bobby, it was Vallejo, Big Vallejo.
No, it was a group that really meshed together really well.
We did.
We had a ton of fun and got a lot of good work done.
Yeah. I don't think we'll ever really know the impact you make on people in this job, because you don't get to hear every story. You don't get to hear every this is the officer that did this or that. You just work the ones that you can. But I know it takes a toll.
Sure.
It takes a toll on a lot of us. So we have a lot of peer team stuff. We tell officers, find a hobby. You've always been a fisherman. Right?
Yes.
Angler. What do we call that?
Either. Yeah.
A fisherman.
Yeah. Either one of those work. It's just not a catcher.
You're not. No. You're just fisherman.
Yeah.
And
not always catching them.
Not always catching them, but you are trying to grab them. But I know you were fishing before, and then, I mean, maybe in the recent past few years, you've just picked it up and just kind of run with it.
Yeah, I've kind of shifted gears. I fished a bunch of the boat stuff for years, which is extremely expensive, very hard to make it in because you got to travel so much. Working full-time at the PD with my responsibilities here really made that tough. So I jumped into the kayak leagues.
Yeah.
And it's just really taken off for me. It's a
Really?
lot more.
I mean, it's like the past few
opportunity.
years.
Yes. Yeah,
Yeah.
this is my third year fishing professional with the kayak stuff.
Yeah, I was about to say, you've gone pro.
Yes.
Yes.
And,
Like,
it's going really well.
have you been on Bassmasters? Remember that show?
Yeah, I have fished some Bassmaster events. Yes.
Bassmasters.
Yeah.
Love it. For all my Ghostbusters fans out there, it's a Ghostbusters reference. Actually, Ghostbusters 2. But yeah, so you went pro.
Yes.
But it's like your side hustle.
Yes.
I mean, you're 4 days on, 3 days off here, and then you fish tournaments. The chief mentioned about 2 weeks ago to me, unbeknownst to me, I didn't know at the time, but you placed first in the state. Is that right?
Yes, that was with the KBF, kayak bass fishing.
Yeah.
I won the state of Oklahoma championship.
Is that like a 2 day, 3 day? How does that?
We were out there 3 days.
How's it you and somebody else, or just
me
singles?
and a bunch of anglers.
Well, I know,
from
but
all
like
over the country.
it's not like a
You're
team.
by yourself in that
Okay.
kayak. Yeah, just you and the fishing rods and all the baits.
And then, so do you make your own baits? I know a lot of guys do that with like fly fishing, but do you do that with like actual bass fishing? I don't know. I'm not a fisherman or an angler.
Right. I do a little bit of that. Nothing real big. I do some of the crankbait and jerkbait.
Yeah.
Paints and a little bit of the spinner tying.
Yeah.
Not huge into it, but the tackle's really gotten really good and innovative up to this point.
Yeah.
It's easier for me just to get them from what my sponsors are
And then just go with it.
just go. I may do some modifications to the things that I get, but
Yeah. I saw a video the other day of some guy painting. It looked like an earthworm trying to paint, and I was like, why wouldn't you just use an earthworm? I mean, wouldn't that be the? But I don't know. I'm not a.
yeah, the tournaments you can't use live bait, so.
We were talking earlier about Sheriff Stradley. When I was a kid, that was one of my core memories with my dad and with my brothers. We'd go to Sheriff Stradley's ponds.
Mm-hmm.
We'd be able to go fish out there, and my dad would tube fish.
Yeah.
So big old inner tube. That's kind of scary. You're in there with monster snapping turtles or a snake or something like that. And
Well, oddly enough, at some of the first tournament fishing I did was we used to have a tube league here in Lawton.
Yeah. And then
as a kid.
we had my dad would go with at that point the late Detective Durham, Mark Durham.
Mm-hmm.
They were partners in detectives, so they would go fishing a lot. Do you go with any of the guys from work? I mean, with it being a tournament stuff and being pro, I don't know that.
I do try to take some of the guys from work out.
Yeah.
Try to show them what I do, how I do it, how I rig different baits, things like that. So.
Yeah. When I was a kid, it was always, hey, be quiet. You're gonna scare the fish. Is that thing?
Probably to the extent of banging and
But just
hitting
talking.
things. No,
Like we're
not
talking-
At all. When I'm on my kayak, I've got my speaker on there. I've got my music playing.
What kind of music you listen to?
A bunch of Red Dirt, country rap,
Little mix, everything.
Ryan Upchurch, Jelly Roll. Yeah.
So my dad was
we're getting it
messing
on
with
there.
me.
Well, imagine that with your dad.
Yeah. He said, hey, be quiet.
Yeah.
I'm scared of the fish. All right. He and I are going to have a conversation.
I haven't seen it.
Yeah. You got tell me about the first place deal. Tell me about this state. I mean, like a 2 day deal, you said?
Yeah, it's a
3 day.
It is a 2 day deal, and then the third day we fish as a big bass competition.
Okay.
So you earn your points throughout the season.
Yeah.
Fishing your different challenges. The first season that I fished pro, I led the state of Oklahoma. I was tied for Angler of the Year in the nation.
Angler.
Yeah, we'll go with
Oh,
Angler.
Angler. Okay.
So, that's what it's called there. When
There
you
you
get the trophy, it's
We're
Angler.
going to use terms now. If we're going pro, we're going to use
So-
terms.
Yeah, I was tied for Angler of the Year in the nation, plus Rookie of the Year.
Yeah. Like I said, you've only been doing this just recent.
Yeah, that was my first year, and went out and fished the national championship in Alabama. I led day one. I've never felt that kind of pressure as it was after leading day one and seeing the articles coming out on YouTube. And
And then you're like, ugh, I gotta produce.
yeah, I fell back to 36th on day two.
Just like that.
Yeah, it didn't take long.
No.
If you're not catching fish, you're
Yeah.
falling back.
Yeah.
Day three, I pulled back up and finished 7th
Okay.
in my first national.
So, I mean, when you picked this up, obviously you didn't think this was going to be a professional deal. You didn't think you were going to be balancing both, right?
I wouldn't say that. You know, I've always been very gifted at fishing, and every time I go to a tournament, I expect to win.
Well, it's a good mentality to have.
It doesn't always work that way because those other guys that I'm fishing with feel the same way.
Sure.
And, you know, they're very good. So, you know, anytime you have a top finish or a really good finish, you got to feel great about it because you're fishing against some hammers.
Yeah.
So
how does that work for you with balancing it with PD life?
it can be tough.
Yeah.
You know, because you've got your responsibilities here. You want to make sure that your team's taken care of and, you know, also the department's taken care of, you know, plus your personal life.
Yeah.
You know, to run because fishing tour like that, we're running all over the country.
And your family's like, you gotta balance the three. So family first would be my thought. And then obviously LPD's the steady. And then
Sure.
the tournament is more of a release. I mean, I would think the fishing helps with the getaway from the everyday. You know what I mean? The PD, and it's not that it's the job. It's just it's the job. I mean, it's any job. You have to have a hobby. You
You're
have to
gonna
have something
stress
outside.
in any job, even if it's not police work.
So how do you feel like when you're going into it? Do you just feel like, okay, it's like kind of like a vacation?
It's probably a combination of both.
Yeah.
When I'm going to those tournaments, I get pretty stressed thinking about it.
Yeah.
You know, as I can't tell you how many thoughts going through my head. What baits I'm going to throw, where I'm going to fish, what's going on with the weather there.
Temperature, yeah.
I do a lot of research before I get there. You know, definitely weather patterns probably a month prior, you know, to go into a big tournament like that.
A month out?
Oh, yeah. You want to know what's been going on. You know, as our water level went up, way down, went up, way down. It's been steadily rising, steadily dropping for a month. Has it been just extremely hot like it was here?
You know, we're telling all your secrets. You know, these other anglers are going to come and listen to this, and
they're doing the same thing.
They're doing the same thing.
Yes.
You're not telling tales out of school then. Okay.
You just go to those and hope that you're better at knowing what the fish are going to do.
Being a barometer.
Sure. Yeah. I lick my fingers, stick it up in the air.
Like, oh, yeah.
It's dropping.
We got to go this way. Take a left. Yeah. So
all
you're
about-
talking to yourself. So and then, I mean, so obviously you pick this up as a release. Does it help when you going out there and just kind of leaving work behind and doing your 10 and shutting it off?
Yeah, I think one of the things that really helps is, you know, I've got a very supportive family with this. And then when I'm at work, my team is very supportive, just like my family is.
Yeah.
You know, so when I go to those tournaments, as I am stressed because of my own thoughts of what I'm going to do while I'm fishing, I'm not stressed about the job with me being gone.
Yeah.
You know, and tons of the guys, they hit me up while I'm out at the tournament, telling me good luck, asking me how I'm doing after my first day. Had some even hit me on my pre-fish day.
Yeah.
You know, asking if I was catching any fish. And, you know, so I sent them some pictures of the big angel babies I was catching.
Well, I'm still under that mentality of don't talk when you're fishing. So that's why I haven't texted you or called you, because
I talk the whole time I fish.
My dad's in my ear, like, scaring the fish. And I know if I scare the fish for you, that's tournament right there. And so what's the prize for these? I mean, when you win these tournaments, is it bragging rights or a trophy? Or
Well, usually bragging rights first, trophies. There's money payouts on these, equipment. You know, won some equipment when I was there in Alabama, plus my trophy. Bragging rights is more important to me than the trophy and everything.
Typical fisherman, right?
You know, if you're beating that handful of guys that's in that field, you know, you've really accomplished something. Nobody cares about the money. Well,
probably an elitist group too. I mean, that's, you know, probably the same thing like with golf. I mean, you guys have that shared inner circles to where those guys, if you're doing that, they have the same interests, right?
Yeah, I've got a trophy on my wall in my office from last year. We went out there, and it was the top 500 kayakers in the world. There's guys from Australia, Canada, Mexico. Your whole goal is to finish in that top 100.
I think it's so cool that, and especially you have, you know, newer guys and girls come on, and we always tell them in the academy, it's like, hey, this is a career, you know, this is your bread and butter.
Absolutely.
But you got to find something else to do. This cannot consume you. You can't let this career consume everything about you.
No, because it will take you over if you allow that.
Yeah,
it really will.
We can't have it identify us. I mean, people know us as police officers, but they know Brian Schatz is the canine officer who came over from SO.
Right.
They know you as, the gang officer or the officer who worked their case in detectives. But they don't know a fisherman,
Yeah,
an angler.
They don't know the Brian shots that's out there on the water.
No.
Flipping toad thumper lures and
all that jazz.
Yeah. They don't know that guy. No, I'm that guy that if I see you and I'm catching them and you're not catching anything, I'll give you what I'm throwing.
So
I just did that in a tournament there in Alabama.
Help him out.
A guy he had one fish. So I gave him some of my toad thumper gill cross.
And it worked out. See, one of the other guys was saying this morning, I was talking to a couple of the guys at the office, and that we were going to have this episode, and they were saying they were probably going to go out with you this weekend.
Yes.
And fish a little bit.
Yeah, we're going to try to get his son out and get him on a kayak, and I'm going to make him up a little gift pack.
That'd be nice
with some new lures and stuff, and get it to him, and I think he'll be super stoked.
So after the tournaments, just have this relief. You're like, whether you placed, whether you didn't. I mean, you have fun doing it either way, right?
Absolutely.
When you come back to work, do you feel relieved? Do you feel like, okay, I'm ready for another week? I'm ready for.
Usually works a little bit different for me. I'm ready for another fishing trip, so I come back to work ready to go.
Yeah, I mean you're on, but you've been on 22 years.
Yeah, 22 years with us.
Yeah,
and, plus my time before. So I'm kind of getting to the end of that, but I do enjoy what I do. I enjoy coming back to work,
and the guys like working with you.
Yes.
Yeah, it's always a plus to have supervision that you like working with. I don't say working for,
or at least they say they do.
Yeah. Well, I've heard it. They've told me that they like working with you.
It's one of those I'm extremely blessed, to be in a career like law enforcement, do as well as I have in it, and have another career, that the Lord's blessed me with the skills to do just as well in that. So.
Yeah, sitting in the wings.
So
I know that, you help out a lot of people when you're fishing. That's great. You talked about helping out one of the other officers coming to you this weekend. Sounds. Anytime I've had a question, whether it's narcotics related, canine related, even work related, other areas, you are one of the go-to guys. You'll help no matter what, and I've always been really appreciative of that. And it shows. It's overflowed into your hobby life, your fishing. So have you thought about putting stuff out, things like that to help other people?
I've got my my Facebook, which is Brian Shots on Facebook. Same with my Instagram. We've got another one, which is Shots Outdoors, I think, on TikTok.
You're picking this up. This is
we're about to start a YouTube channel. It'll be one of those. I'll put it out on my my Facebook and stuff of what it's going to be, but we're going to do some instructional videos.
For our listeners, if there's something that you have questions about with Brian, whether it's PD related or fish related, you can always email me for topic links at lawtonpdpio@lawtonok.gov, and then we can pass that along and answer those on future episodes for those that may have questions. Because like I said, I'm not a fisherman, I'm not an angler. It'd be tough to get me to throw something out there without a bobber, I've been tube fishing a couple times, and that's always fun.
We can take you out and work on that.
Maybe we'll have a follow-up episode with that. What advice would you give to new officers wanting to come on to the PD, more specifically to LPD?
Yeah, like as far as laterals, it doesn't matter what kind of experience you've got. I came to LPD with a lot of experience. I'd been a canine handler, ran drug interdiction, SWAT team. Narcotics, just be modest.
I would say be teachable.
Yes. And listen.
Yes.
Yeah.
We, on the show, I don't know if you kind of, obviously you follow what we do on Facebook and our social media sites. For all our listeners, by all means, go to all of our social media sites, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. We're trying to get out there with all of them, the whole 9 yards. Have you seen our rapid fire Q&As?
Yes.
If you're willing, we'll do rapid fire Q&A.
Not scared.
You're not scared?
Not scared.
No, it's the same.
Mm-hmm. It's like fishing the last 5 minutes of a tournament.
There you go. You got to
flip them as quick as you can.
As quick as you can. So are you ready?
Get it.
Hobbies while you're not at work.
Fishing.
We covered that one. Golf. Yeah. What else? Other than fishing. Golf.
Working dogs.
Working dogs.
Hunting.
Hunting. Okay. What was your first job?
Farming.
Farming like what? Like farming like cattle, farming like
Cattle,
wheat,
cutting wheat, barley, oats.
and you're local. I mean, you've been
Grew up right here,
yeah.
right outside of Lawton.
Went to Mac, didn't you?
Went to MacArthur.
Look at us,
Yeah.
a couple of Mac alumni sitting here talking at
The
old Cameron
Highlanders.
University.
Yep.
Yeah,
Cattle.
yeah. Do you prefer text or phone calls?
Phone calls.
Depends on who it's from.
Yes.
Phone calls.
Some people I don't want to talk to.
Favorite food?
Don't have one.
All of them?
Yeah. I don't eat much.
You're food friendly?
Yeah. I mean, it just depends on the day.
I
That'll
guess
be
so.
my favorite for the day.
Okay. Cookies. Do you like cookies?
Yes. I know somebody that makes some of the best butterscotch oatmeal cookies in the world.
Oh, well,
Some of my favorite.
we'll have to reach out to somebody and see if that can happen.
Yeah.
How about that? Let's see. How long have you been on LPD?
22 years.
22 solid years. What's your favorite season?
Spring, probably.
Question?
No, it's tough to say because it centers around fishing. So you probably have the best chance of catching a fat girl in the spring because
Yeah.
they're coming up to spawn.
When we talk about fat, we're talking about bass. Right?
Yes. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
we have anglers
Love 'em.
that maybe are not listening.
The
So,
bigger the belly, the
Okay.
bigger kiss I give 'em.
Okay.
So,
Let's see. If pizza was your favorite for the day, what would your favorite pizza topping be?
hamburger.
Okay. And your favorite holiday?
I don't have one.
You don't?
Mm-mm.
4th of July, Christmas, you know?
No.
Oh, all right.
No, they're almost,
Favorite
all the same.
favorite movie?
Probably Sling Blade.
Sling Blade.
Mm-hmm.
Ain't got no gas in it. Sling Blade. That Dwight Yoakam was in that one.
Yes, he was.
He was a rough guy in that one.
Needed to keep his hat on
Man, he was a scary dude in that one.
for a little while.
Yeah, I can check you off my list of people that do rapid fire Q&A. I pulled that phone out and people will take. They're like, nope. Some of them are all about it though. I mean, it's really good. And like I said, it's like the purpose of this podcast, the purpose of these videos is to let people see there's a person behind the badge. I mean, you're a fisherman, you're an angler, you're a father, a husband, and a really good lieutenant, really good police officer.
Thank you.
And people need to know that. People need to know that about our guys and girls, and hopefully this badge and banter will give that to them. Kind of some takeaways. We talked about what you would encourage and what you would talk to about with laterals. What about our listeners? What do you hope that they take away from this podcast?
I'd say probably the biggest thing is, everybody sees us in the uniform, and we've been getting a lot of support here lately. It's great to see, but a lot of people don't know. They just see the officer in the uniform and associate that with the badge. One thing I'd like for people to take away is we're no different than regular people. I mean, we do the same thing regular people do. I'm that guy that you may see at the store that opens and holds the door for you, and we're just regular people. I'm out there fishing, shanking a golf ball in the woods.
Yeah, I've been there.
I do it regular.
How many golf balls I find out there?
I even go out fishing sometimes and catch a dink just to know what it feels like.
Yeah. There you go.
That's I'm just like everybody else.
We want people to know that we are people. I mean, we were looking for a job and we found this one.
Right.
And this turns into a career. A lot of people, I've talked to officers throughout the year that says, I just didn't like what I was doing at this other place, at this other job, so I figured why not be a police officer.
Sure.
And they've made some of the best police officers.
Mm-hmm.
They're out there changing lives and not even knowing it,
Right.
and for the better. So it is a definite plus. So I appreciate that that's something that you want our listeners to take away from this. If you have questions for Brian or questions for us on the podcast, Lawton PD, PIO at lawtonok.gov is, like I said, one you need to look at. And just some things on our end as far as upcoming events. We've got Cameron basketball is kicking off. I know that, like I said, we're in the Cameron studio here. Cameron basketball coming up. Fall enrollment still a thing. City of Lawton side, we have They're doing that. I know you've probably seen it with our City Lawton webpage, the community clean out. That's kind of a 3-parter.
It's a good deal.
Yeah.
Help get Lawton cleaned up, some
Yeah.
of that stuff that people just can't move on their own.
Yeah, gets all that out there and
Good deal that we do.
takes it out. There's looking at it, I mean, it's kind of like a 3-part section, what they told me. There's household hazardous waste. There's donations and all that is at the Lawton Public Library. And then they have I guess the finale of it turns into the city's chili and dessert cook-off coming up, and all that benefit goes towards United Way.
That's a good one to attend.
Man, chili cook-off, I don't know.
Chili.
You
Yeah.
could be a judge in that. I mean, if a cook-off, you're going to have to pick one, right?
I mean, yeah, but you get to try them all.
I mean, chili could be your favorite food of the day.
Yeah.
On that one.
Well, if that's what I was hungry for that day, it would be.
Do you like beans in your chili?
Yes.
Oh, there you go. See, rapid fire. There you go. So, I mean, that'd be a good one. So, listeners, go to City Lawton website and look at that. I'm sure Caitlin Gatlin, our communications and marketing manager, has information on the site for that if you're interested in it, for the cleanup and clean out. And then they also have, I think November 11th, if I'm not mistaken, is the city is co-hosting a Veterans Day celebration. And so anybody who is a veteran, we have a couple officers that are on the department that are veterans. And of course, this is Lawton Fort Sill. It's a military town. So we have plenty of veterans in our community, and we thank you. We thank you all for your service.
Yeah, that's going to be a good deal.
And the celebration's at 8:30, and it's I think on the west side of City Hall. But I know there's going to be a ceremony. I know there's going to be coffee. I know there's going to be breakfast, and I think Hilton Garden Inn is going to provide the breakfast, and I believe that Viridian Coffee is going to have the coffee.
Nice.
Going out there. So Viridian, great coffee. We did an event out there. They had a trunk or treat this last deal for Halloween.
That turned out well.
There was so many people out there. We had a really good time though. A lot of people, great events. There's a lot of things coming up within our community, and we want you guys to be a part of it. Like I said,
I think we've got one the 16th while I'm gone. I was going to try to be there.
Yeah.
We got Holiday in the Park coming 16th.
Oh, the parade.
Is it the parade?
The parade's coming up. Yeah, we'll probably
16th.
mention that one more. There's a Frost Your Fanny in there too. Yeah. Frost Your Fanny run. Yeah, those are always a thing.
Just go on the pages and follow.
Yeah,
follow the
City of
Lawton, Lawton Police Department.
Yeah.
See what we've got
like
going
us,
on. And
like us on Facebook. Get out there and see what we've got to offer. Like I said, if you say there's nothing going on in Lawton, then you're not looking. I promise you. And if you have information about stuff you want to see on the show or people you'd like to see on the show, then write us, email me, lawtonpdpio@lawtonok.gov. So this is, I guess, the second episode. I think it went pretty well.
yeah, I think that was a good time.
Yeah.
Let people know what's going on and kind of get to know myself and you as well.
Yeah, they'll learn more from me throughout the way, I guess.
Charles.
Yeah, Charles. Do this to me again, Charles.
Yeah, so a lot of stories there.
Yeah, man, a lot of stories. Well, Brian, thank you for being on the show.
Oh, absolutely. Thanks for having me.
I greatly appreciate it. Like I said, the chief gave us the blessing for a podcast, and I hope that it gets the traction and it takes off, and we can have you back on again with. Before we cut out, I want to ask you about Badge and Banter.
Yeah,
kind of.
We need to throw some advertising on that on the kayak setup.
Put on the side of your boat.
Yeah.
Badge and Banter.
It's all over the world.
Yeah, why not?
They're all
right?
over
If
the
this goes
country.
national.
Yeah, I'm not worldwide yet.
Oh, worldwide prestige. Yeah. We could make you. We could.
I hope
put
to
you
be
out
in
there.
Canada fishing here in the next year or two.
Bring back some maple syrup.
Oh, see what I can do.
All right. Well, thanks for being with us on Badge and Banner. And ladies and gentlemen, tune in to us next time, and we'll bring you so much more. Thank you.
Thank you all.